Welcome back to the High Vibe Honey podcast, a sanctuary for women who are done performing power and pleasure and are ready to live it. I'm your host, Katie Rogers, a relationship, intimacy, and feminine embodiment coach. And this is the space where we drop the pressure to prove and step into our full spectrum power, feminine magnetism, and deeply self sourced love. Here we have raw, reverent conversations with sacred rebels, thought leaders, and iconic women who are redefining love, leadership, and success on their own terms. You don't have to choose between success and intimacy. You don't have to earn your softness or perform your worthiness. You get to have it all. And this is where we remember how. So today I am joined by Renee Marie, business and leadership coach, speaker, and the founder of the Iconic Woman Movement. After building a multiple six-figure beauty education empire and scaling to 30K months, Renee pivoted into sacred, heart-led work of helping women rise in embodied feminine leadership. She blends identity work, nervous system mastery, and somatic healing to help visionary women scale with ease, power, and soul. Renee, I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Oh, yes, love. This is so beautiful, so wonderful. I am so glad to just dive in today and have a juicy, beautiful conversation with you.
Absolutely. So we had the pleasure of meeting recently at Living Brave Live in Denver, and your magic is just so powerful and so magnetic. And I heard you speak, and I was like, wow, I want to get to know this woman. And the more that I heard about your story, the more I was like, okay, this is so beautiful. I can't wait to have you on the podcast. I'm so happy you said yes. So I would love to start where we always begin. Who were you before you came to this version of yourself now? And what's the part of your stories that most people don't know?
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, first of all, I just love listening to your voice right now. Like this is gonna be such a pleasant conversation. Like you're so lovely to listen to. So who was I before? This is such a phenomenal question because we're constantly evolving and growing in our life, right? But I have to
Mhm.
say, this next level version of me, this identity shift, this rebirth that I just experienced has been the biggest one that I have ever went through in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I am 38 years old and I just feel like, wow. So who I was before I was so wrapped up in the identity of being the hairstylist. I was in the beauty industry. And since I was really young, I was like 16 years old, like at the shampoo bowl. And I graduated high school with my cosmetology license. And I love doing styling and event hair and all the things. And then that grew and evolved. And I was also an aspiring singer and actress at the same time, which is kind of why I
Mm.
took the cosmetology school because my parents are like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I was like, fine. So I did it. But the funny part is that I went to school for acting and singing, and then I was like, I'll just do the hair. It's just easier. It's just the easier route. And so I did. And through that evolution, I became a bridal hairstylist, and then I started teaching it. So for 10 years out of the over 20 years, I was teaching bridal hairstyling, and I taught it all over the US. I created a massive online community, and I just really poured my heart and energy into it, and I loved it. And then there was a time where my body and my mind and soul were just all giving me the nudge, like there's something more for you. And I was so like wrapped up in the identity of like, oh my God, but I built myself up to become this very well-known bridal hair educator. And I worked with all the brands and had all the accolades and I was making great income. And yet I still have this voice that was like, there's something more here. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I can go into so much depth of who I was before, but I'd like you to just navigate the conversation with that because I could
Yeah.
just keep talking.
I love this. I actually saw you do Jessica's hair on the bus. So the event that we
Mm.
went to, it was rock star theme, and you were doing these like crazy braids in Jessica's hair and adding in like jewel stuff. And I was like, doing it on a moving bus as well. And I was like, wow, this woman's pretty talented. This, but I didn't know that part of your story. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do it in my sleep. I can literally curl your hair probably with a hot curling iron in my sleep with my eyes closed because
Oh,
I've done so, I mean, I've touched so many human heads in my life and done so much hair. So, yeah.
so many heads and hearts, Queen.
Yes.
Well, I wish I tapped into that when I saw you there, but anyway, that sounds amazing. And I love what you share about this idea. We go through this transformation, we're in constant evolution. And sometimes a lot of the kind of high achieving, high performing women that I work with that listen to this podcast that are in my world, we can tend to buy into this misunderstanding that we go through a certain point of our path and be like, oh, that wasn't right. And then I did something else and that wasn't right either. And then I did something else. And then I found the thing I was meant to be doing. And it's like, we ask the universe for a forest, say, and we're quoting Melanie Ann Layer in this, and we ask for a forest and we look and we're like, oh, all I'm getting is seeds. All I'm getting, what is this? I wanted a forest. Why am I just getting seeds? And you go through all of these different versions of yourself, all of these different parts of you. And then you look back and it's like, oh my God, this forest has been growing the whole time. And even though we can't see it at the time of where these things are taking us, we get to realize none of it's wrong. I'm building
Mhm.
every single step of the way. So I love that there is such diversity and such richness in your experiences. And I think so many people will just hold that and be like, yeah, me too, me too.
Because it's all of us. I mean, we are just a walking evolution. And like you said, I feel like people separate it too much, right? And I'm really about like connecting the dots. Like there has been
Yeah,
that through line your entire life, you know? And when you
yeah,
realize that and you realize you've been like evolving and that each step, each failing thing that you did got to you to where you are now. I mean, it's just actually a really beautiful journey.
yeah, totally. So you said about this idea of this nudge from the universe being like, hey, there's something more. There's something more. Tell us about that, where that led to you and the magic you're sharing in the world today.
Yes, thank you. Oh, so this has been um this has been a 2 year, let's just say ego death. And that seems like a very long time, but this is honestly, like I said, the biggest transformation I've ever had in my entire life because I did go through a deep spiritual and healing journey on the way, learning nervous system mastery, learning somatics, starting to do breath work. I mean, all these things just connect you to yourself even more. And
Yeah.
all these things started unraveling and coming to surface. And I was like, whoa, what is this going on here? So
Yeah.
it was really when I was teaching bridal hair for so long, and I was like, I am kind of over it. Like I've been doing it so much and I loved it and I poured my heart into it. And it's like it messes with you, right? Because your ego is telling you, well, you built your name for yourself doing this and it's comfortable, right? Because like you're doing
Hmm.
great. So it's like, why would you leave that thing that you're doing so great at, right? Like,
Yeah.
why would you do that? And I just was like, no, like I feel like I've grown and evolved so much. I actually want to teach those how to become educators, how to become coaches in the beauty industry. So I had like a finale tour that year and I made it so fun. We were in 3 different states and then the last class that I taught for hairstyling was on stage at a hair award show. And I was just like mic drop at the end, like here we go. This is the last one you guys got to witness and now I'm going to be leading the leaders. So that was October of 2023. And since then, I have been just like constantly listening to that nudge. So it was like, it wasn't just one nudge, it was
Mm.
like many of them along the way the whispers that would come in. And like, you don't hear them if you're in the chaos of doing daily things. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just stuck in the grind. You're stuck doing the same mundane things over and over again for your business and your life, all the things. But when I was quiet, when I was still, I would hear these things and then I would be like, okay, that's it. This is the right path, right? So there were a couple of moments for me. That was the number one moment there where I was like, okay, I'm meant to teach what I've been mastering the past 20 something years in the beauty industry to others. And then the other nudge was when you are growing and evolving, and let me know if you feel this way too. And whoever's listening right now, I know
Mm.
you've felt this. You start to outsource your power. You start to look outside yourself for the answers because it's unknown territory. You've never been there before. I had never been an educator's educator. Like I was leading the leaders. I've never done
Yeah.
that before. I've done it in different facets, like along the way, but I've never fully claimed it and done it. So I hired the mentors, I hired the coaches, I did the online coaching programs. I went like, oh, I'm so feminine. I got to learn more masculine stuff. And then I went far swing to the masculine. And then there was that nudge again, like this is not it for you. And I had went with my husband to Sweden for my cousin's wedding back. It was almost a year ago. It was last August, and we went to Positano first. We had like a good 2 weeks in like Europe. It was
Mm,
it was beautiful, and it was a time for me to like detach, because at that time I was stuck in like the hustle. I was stuck in doing sales calls, dealing with objections, and it
yeah.
wasn't me. It wasn't me, and I thought that I had to do that to grow and scale, which you don't have to do that to grow and scale. And it just didn't work for me. So when I came back, I was so just like, oh, after like soaking in the Mediterranean Sea, I mean, that does something for you. And I just
Yeah.
came back and I was like, I shut down all my stuff, all my ads. I shut down all my ads. I stopped doing the sales process. And I was like, I just need to come back to me for a minute. So there was that other nudge of like, okay, the way in which you're doing this, we need to follow this path. And the path was, we need to heal you to
Mm,
become the embodied leader to lead the leaders. So honestly, that has been my whole journey and evolution this past year is like being able to have the capacity and the nervous system to be anchored in as this heart-led iconic woman leader. Like I had to go
yeah.
through these things. So I know I got off. I mean, I could just keep going and talking about this. So I know I
Yeah.
got off. I was just trying to explain like the nudges. It wasn't just one nudge. It
Yeah.
was many times that it just kind of, came in.
Totally. I think life is always coaching you and giving you these nudges. And sometimes, as you say, when we are so busy, we
Mm,
don't really like, I think of it like a helipad and like these things they're trying to land in and they're trying to communicate us, but we're so busy, we're moving this helipad. There's nowhere really for it to land. And
yeah.
so it's only when we kind of stop and come inward
Mm,
doing our insourcing that we get to really see like, okay, this is coming through for me. This is how I'm going to land it versus this isn't working, maybe it's the next coach, maybe it's the next, and we start outsourcing, as you say. So
mhm,
coming back to yourself and really slowing down. And I think that is a thing that is quite a big challenge for a
mm,
lot of high achieving women because yes, we can do everything very efficiently. We can do everything very fast and we can do it all in heels. And so we put ourselves in 2x speed and we just go, go, go. And yet, actually, that can disconnect us from ourselves to some extent. And when we sometimes slow down, that is the quickest way to speed up in many ways.
mhm,
So yeah, I love this redirecting when you're able to slow down and think, yeah, okay, I'm landing this. What do I want to do with this? And having the bravery to say, yes, I built this thing. I
mm,
built this empire. I was successful. It was amazing. I touched a lot of lives. And also there is more for me, and I want to explore this new avenue. It is really hard to close a door on something and open
mm,
into something else. And yet I always think it's so worth it because we have such a short life.
mhm.
Why wouldn't you want to have it rich with experiences as you move through? And if you are feeling that nudge of, okay, I think there's something else for me, then what is that? What do you want to do in this lifetime?
Yeah.
So I know you created this stunning body of work called the Iconic Woman Blueprint. Can you walk us through what that means, and what it means for you to be iconic, to be almost iconic, and how this was kind of birthed through your own story?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you said. It's like working on the input, like the that inner work, right? And
Mm,
and to be able to like quiet that noise, it is so hard. I mean, come on. This was, let's say, 36 years of my life. I was running on autopilot. I was the high achiever. I was ambitious. So I mean,
yeah.
I'm going as a mom of three. I'm doing all the things. And it gives you this like adrenaline rush almost
Mm,
until I started doing the nervous system work. And I'm like, whoa. Like,
yeah.
I am not allowing this to unfold how it's supposed to unfold because I am a control freak,
Yeah.
because I I'm always like the fixer and the strategist and like you have this tight grip on your life. But when you like release it and it's like, oh
Mm.
my God, this is what it's supposed to feel like. You're supposed to go with the flow of life, not resist it, right? And
Yes.
oh, that was like the moment. So give me the question again, because I was just touching on what you said and I
I mean,
forgot.
I love this. We can definitely we can definitely do a detour to here because yeah, this idea of surrender and trusting the flow of life is so
Mm,
powerful. And I always have to remind myself it's above your spiritual pay grade to question whether these things are working out or not. But when I follow my desire, when I slow down and feel into what I'm doing, that is where things just happen so much more easily versus me wanting to be the salmon swimming upstream, or I don't know if I got that right,
yep.
but the thing that's battling against the current, because so many of us were taught that to get the result, especially high achievers, you have to suffer and struggle your way there. You have to earn it. You have to prove it. And working as a lawyer, that is so ingrained into the culture. It's like, yeah, how many hours did you bill this week? How many hours? And we just wear it like a burnout, like a badge of honor of like, yeah, I worked this hard and drive and all of this stuff. And it's like, oh, well, what about desire? What about
Yes.
devotion? What if it was
Mhm.
less dedication and let me see how hard I can hurt myself in this process to prove that I'm worth having this thing? But what if I followed instead the things that felt really good? And I totally agree that, this last probably year and a half in particular is where I really noticed the relationship that I have with control and how much I thought that was me grounded in this unshakable power, and it wasn't. It was
Mm-mm.
like power built on like a house of cards. It was so fragile, and I
Mm.
was gripping to this control so much because I knew if I let go, it might all crumble.
Mhm.
So being able to release control, move into your trust, move into your desire, then you're holding something with so much more power that it's like, I'm surrendered because I trust the flow of life.
Yeah.
And I trust that if life is giving me my desires, it's not giving them to me to say, hey, Katie, wouldn't this be nice for everybody else, but not for you? You don't deserve this. You haven't worked hard enough for this yet. No, it's showing me as this is your GPS, this is your guidance. So yeah, I mean, I love this topic. We could riff on this
I
for a long
know, I
time.
know. And I just remembered what it was, which it beautifully aligns into the next just flow of our conversation. This is what the iconic woman is. Like
Mm.
is she is the leader who, okay, I'm going to tell you all the different components of her, okay? And this
Yes,
is
please.
this is
Yeah.
like I was like, okay, women leaders, world leaders that are just like unshakable. They just have this like magnetism to them. They have this presence to them. They have this like confidence to them where they're just unshakable. Like something
Mm.
had happened and they're like, I'm okay. And I truly feel like that is an embodied leader. And that's what nervous system mastery has done for me. I am my own anchor. I am my own safety. And it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter that I want to build a global iconic woman movement and all of the things that it's going to take to do that and the capacity that I need to have in order to create that. I'm not afraid because I know I have that inner anchor within me, the inner safety within me. And
Mm.
that is the unshakable iconic woman. And the iconic woman is also just so radically honest with herself, right? Like, this is the part that took me a long time to heal because I was a
Mm.
big fawner. I wanted you to like me. I would maybe perform and say things that you wanted me to say or I thought you wanted me to say just so that I could be liked. And it was just a safety thing in my nervous system. Like, oh, like
Mm.
I'm gonna try to fit in here and here. And I was like a chameleon. And I really feel like that's like the actress in me. It's like I can like morph
Yeah.
and move and but I also can truly feel and I'm super intuitive. So it's like it works, right? But what didn't work is when I wasn't being honest with myself, when I wasn't
Yeah.
being honest with what my core values are as a
Mhm.
leader, what I truly like believed to be true in my soul. And
Mhm.
that was the time when I was outsourcing. So I said, no, this next version of me, the iconic woman version of me, she is deeply rooted in her power, in her truth, in her integrity.
Yeah.
And she is truthful about like what actually is in alignment for her. Because that's the thing. It's like when we are trying to control, when we are trying to make a certain amount of money, when we are trying to make things like happen the way that we want it to happen, that's the grip, right? And when we allow ourselves to flow, because we do have that safety within us and because we know our truth, that's when everything just flows into us, right? And that
Yeah.
is like the magnetism. So I also was thinking about like who I am as a woman. I am so multifaceted. And in the
Yeah.
coaching industry, I mean, there's been coaches that are like the niche and like, you have to be in this one niche in this one way and whatever. And I'm like, but no, this is all of me. And I did an iconic woman photo shoot back in April. And I was so excited because I had all these different outfits. We did some cute like mom ones where I'm wearing like the like sexy business attire and then I have the baby on my hip and my toddler and
Oh,
my 15-year-old and we took pictures on the beach and it was just like casual and free-spirited and my flowy dress. And then I took another one where it was like this glitterly this glittery like shimmery outfit. See, I was trying to mix those two words together, shimmery and glittery. I just had this like shimmery dress on with this bold red lip, like Marilyn Monroe. And it's like, I can be the chill, whimsical, like woman on the beach with her children reading books, or I be the sexiest bitch who walks in the room and claims the
yeah.
stage. And like, I can be all of that. So that's the
Yes.
iconic woman is like seeing all the different multidimensional things within her, all the things that make her her, and
Mm,
owning it. And that, when you have that iconic woman blueprint within and you really are secure with that, that is an embodied leader who leads from this just like rock solid foundation place, right? We're not reactive. We
mm,
are responsive. We are able to like have more of that capacity, right? So that's what the iconic woman is. And I said, I need to become her in order to run a global company, right? Or
yeah.
have this global movement that I'm seeing for myself, this big vision, right? And that is what I teach now is just like showing other leaders how to create their own iconic blueprint because everyone's different. And that
Yes.
was one of the things that I hated in the coaching industry, like these cookie cutter ways of doing things. And it's like, no, you figure out your way. You're honest with yourself, what you want to do, how you want
Mm.
to put in your time. And yeah, that is who she is.
Ah, stunning. And this work is so needed as well. I was reading one of Mama Gina's books, and she talks about this idea of women are taught to compromise before they're taught to come, right? Our
Mm,
own pleasure and leading into what you were saying, our own authenticity is something that we're not really taught to expand into and to understand. So many of us are raised of how do you be the good girl? How do you get people to like you? How do you be the high achiever? How do you earn your love? How do you earn your success? All these things. And so often, as you say, we move through life of this, what do I need to do or be in order for you to like me or for you to accept me or for me to be safe in this experience? And when you get used to working your brain in that way, it takes you out of your authenticity and into more of this space. I say this powerful journey from vanity to authenticity. Vanity not necessarily being, do I look good, but am I accepted on paper for everything that you need me to be? And then when you do that, of course, you're not going to be able to please everybody, first of all, and you're not going to be able to do it all in one way. So you end up creating all of these fragmented pieces of you. And then when you look at it, you're like, this isn't actually fitting together. And I'm not even sure who I am. In
mm,
my story, I was Katie the lawyer and Katie the daughter and Kate and all these things. And I'm like, these are all different people that I'm trying to please
yeah,
different fragments of my life with. But as you say, when you come back to this idea of wholeness, of, oh, I am everything.
yeah,
I am everything all at once. I can be the sweet, innocent, good girl. I can be the badass. I can be this powerhouse. And then it's like, then what do I choose? What actually feels good for me? What do I want to drive with? And as you say, like moving more into the somatics part of it, even if consciously you haven't trained that skill to really know who you are and what you want, and that's something you can absolutely work into and fully recommend everyone doing that. But somatically, your body knows.
Yeah.
So you might get this nudge of like, oh, I'm doing this thing. It feels expansive. It feels open. It feels yummy. Yes, let's fucking go. Or you might get this sense of like contraction of this inner no that wants to be heard. Except sometimes when you are very busy in the mind and you want to stay here because it creates this illusion of safety that actually is innocent but doesn't really work, then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go. It's kind of like having one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake. And you're just like, why doesn't this feel good? Why is everything feeling stuck and clunky? Well, of course, you can't drive efficiently from that space. So,
Mm.
yeah, coming back to this wholeness piece of, yeah, I'm everything. When I own my story, when I own my desires, when I lead with that, wow, then what do I do in this world?
Yeah.
Sounds magical.
Mm. Yeah. It's something I know all of us women leaders need because, like you said, we were brought up conditioned so differently than even men. So I
Yeah.
said, this is the iconic woman blueprint as a
Mm,
leader because we are all wired differently, right? As men and
yeah.
women. And this is something us women need to bring back our power. And it's
Mm,
so often like us as women, we just like carry so much, like as mothers, as
mm,
wives, as business owners, as leaders. And it's like, okay, what about us? Like, and this is what I'm talking about. It's like making yourself whole so you're able to give and pour into others in such a more beautiful way that you couldn't before, or it would be diluted, or it would be just not feel good, right? And I always tell people like if you feel if it feels heavy, like I don't know what other word to use, but if it feels heavy, your business feels heavy, if you feel like you're almost on the edge of burnout, like, hello,
mm,
those are the signs, right? Like,
yeah.
those are the signs of like something needs to change. So that's why, like, in the evolution of the Iconic Woman Blueprint, we take you through all the stages so you can identify, okay, what is it that's like
Mm,
sticky for me? Is it because I'm not being honest with myself about the way that I am doing something strategy wise? Is it because I'm not anchoring fully into my zone of genius and amplifying
mm,
it and I'm trying to do all these other things, right? Because I see someone else doing something. Is it because I'm not showcasing my genius in the right channels and the right ways that they need to be channeled, right?
yeah.
And that is where we get stuck because we see what other successful entrepreneurs are doing and we look
Yeah.
to them like on this pedestal of like, oh, they're doing that. I need to do that too. No,
Mm,
we need to do what works for us in our zone of genius, not what someone else is doing, because their strategy will never work for you.
yeah.
It's you. You are the strategy.
Yeah, that's right. It's this dance between like the doing to prove and doing what you think you should be doing versus leading from truth and having this really grounded in a much more embodied way. And I know that a lot of your work, you obviously are bringing in the somatics, the breath work, not just as modalities, but as keys to really reclaiming who you actually are. So I'm wondering, like, can you speak more to how that really shifted your relationship with success, with motherhood, with um, love, with your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing was realizing how dysregulated I was before.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, that doesn't make it bad the way that I built my business before. It was just what I was conditioned to believe and what I knew, and that was it, right? And I went through a little period where I was like, oh, that doesn't count because I did it dysregulated. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean, Renee? Like you did what you did and you did it beautifully, no matter if you were dysregulated or not. And how it's really shifted me as a mother, as a wife, as a business owner is it like I said before, it's like allowed me not to be in this reactive state. Because when we
Mm,
are in that like fight or flight, like hustle mentality, we are very reactive, very reactive. So now I notice myself as a wife, as a mother, as a business owner, like leading clients, I am very much just like in tune with myself and knowing, okay, how I'm going to respond to things versus being so like quick, right? Like
Yeah.
before, everything was like quick decision, quick decision, quick decision.
Mm.
Whereas now I call it like I allow it to marinate for a minute. Like I like to feel it in my body first. Whereas before I would bypass my body and just be like brain. Like the brain would just, my head would just be in charge all the time. Like, nope, do this. And then one of my favorite books, by the way, have you read Ryan Holiday, Stillness is the Key?
No, but I love the sound of it already.
Oh,
So let me add
oh
that to
my
the
God.
list.
Okay, so this book like changed my life when I read it because I was like, what? I'm a fixer, okay? I'm a projector 1-3, and if I see something that I could like fix, like I will like I feel like very compelled to like tell you, and like that's something I've definitely worked on. Now it's like I only will give guidance when people ask instead of me just projecting it on them. But I forgot what I was going
Who
to say.
can relate to this, by the way?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Oh my God. Sorry if I've given you unsolicited advice and you didn't ask for it, but that's what I do sometimes. Really try not to. So I just was like, okay, I forgot where I was going with this because I got on the whole like
We were
guidance
talking about
thing.
the Book of Stillness, but I
Yes,
actually
yes,
loved what you
Ryan
shared
Holiday.
about.
Yes. So
Yeah.
this book just made me realize like, oh my gosh, how fast paced I was trying to like control
Mm,
every outcome. And you know, when you just like allow something to happen, like it's just, it ends up working out. Like, whereas if you were going to try to control it, it messes it up and like it was going to work out anyway. You know
mhm.
what I mean? So it's like things solve themselves on their own. So it's like it took out like a whole percentage of things I was doing that didn't really matter. So it
Yeah.
was like being still with like your decision making and not being reactive, allowing things to marinate, allowing things to get figured out instead of being like, I have to react. Like the other day, I had a business meeting and I had scheduled my oil change appointment at that time. And I was like, ooh, it's really close. I don't know if I'm going to have good Wi-Fi there. I think I'm going to send him an email really quick just saying like, hey, I think we should move the time. And I just waited a minute and I was like, no. And it worked out because I had to end up rescheduling for another day. So I was like, I didn't even have to
Mm,
send that email. I didn't have to fix anything. I didn't have to do anything. And that's just like a small example, but it's like things
yeah.
just work, they just work themselves out kind of thing, right? So it's not
Yeah.
rushing to the rescue to like fix and like control. And it's
Yeah.
like allow it to just unfold. That honestly, with the nervous system mastery, has been the biggest game changer for me because before
Yeah.
I would be so quick to have the control and to fix. Why? Because that was safety in my body. But now the
Mm,
safety is in my body is like literally taking a couple of deep breaths, anchoring in and being like, it's all good. I don't have to rush to go save something, someone or fix something. And also being the oldest of 5 kids, I was very much the leader. I was the one who would
yeah.
like, I would, guys, don't fight. Like I would intervene, like get in between, like try to like take care of everyone and help everyone. And I just remember in one breathwork session that I had, I just started bawling, crying, and it was like, you don't have to carry everyone's weight. You don't have to let them figure it out on their own. Let
Mm,
them, you don't have to fix everyone. You don't have, and I mean, that's why I ended up in an 8 year long relationship with a narcissist because
yeah.
I have a really big heart and because I thought I can fix him and I obviously couldn't. That didn't end
Yeah.
well, but
Yeah.
I feel that the nervous system mastery has changed my life as a person, as just a whole person, a leader, a mother, a wife, so much in just like knowing that I'm my own rock. I'm my own safety. And it
Mm,
doesn't matter what comes my way, I'm able to handle it. And for my clients, being able to teach them this work and them be that for themselves,
yeah.
it's actually allowed me to be a better leader because now I can guide them to do it themselves. I'm not holding your hand. I'm not baby walking you like, oh, here's the next step and thing you have to do. Like, no, you could be with yourself. You can go do this somatic practice. We can do the things that we talked about in our session. And oh, that block that you kind of had because there's that unhealed, like emotional trauma from this thing and or this like thought that you had in your, about these things. And that's why you're not making that decision to launch that
Mm,
offer or price it at this certain point or start this email. It's like there are so many different ways that our nervous system will show us, oh, what were the things that were not healed from our past that show up and translate in our business. So that's why
Mm.
it's helped not only me, but for me to guide my clients and been like, okay, this is where this resistance is coming in. Let's dive into that more. And it's been life changing. Like, this is the medicine that people truly need in this world to be whole.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. And there's so many similarities in our story as well, in our journeys. And when you walk this path, I mean, this is why you say it is a unique blueprint for everyone because we're all navigating life with our own set of beliefs, with our own set of experiences, with our own set of trauma. Because, yeah, if you made it this far, you got some.
Yeah.
Whether it be big T or little T or whatever, you will have stuff that guides the way that you make your decisions and the way you show up in the world. And often, our blind spots will have us believing things like safety lives outside of us, right? When you bring it back to that, it's like, oh, now I have my power again because now I'm not creating this story of my success being contingent on this person doing a certain thing or this situation working out at a certain time. It's like it was always here. I just couldn't see it because I was looking for it, kind of like when you have your glasses on your head and you're looking for where you put them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's that, and often like the behaviors that we drive from these spaces where we think we're doing things from a space of like leadership and like, let me try and fix this person and let me try and give them advice because I know better than them. You're not seeing them in their power. And when you can
Mhm.
hold your own power, see somebody else in their power, this is where you can create a really phenomenal relationship where it's like, I forget who says this, but the reason that we have separate bodies and separate minds is when you cut, I don't need to bleed. And sometimes when people come from this space, they're like, oh, I have a big heart, I'm really empathic. And they see that as a gift. And in many ways it is, but there's a line and it can turn toxic if you don't know how to navigate that gift. And as you
Mhm.
say, can lead you into some pretty sticky situations. And so both of us have experienced narcissistic abuse. So we know actually how
Mhm.
dangerous that can get when you're not harnessed in your gift in a powerful way where you can really hold that. So yeah, everything you're speaking to, I'm just like, yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love what you're sharing in the world because bringing women back to a space of real self-understanding, real authenticity, real grounded power instead of this illusion of shaky power that could crumble at any minute if all these things don't work out the exact way that I want them to. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, then you get to trust the flow of life. Then you get to speed up
Yes.
and not
That
from a
is where
space of proving.
exactly. That's where the speed up comes in. So, yeah, it's a beautiful way of living and it's like why not share this with the world? Like this is what everyone needs and I really truly believe there's so many more people that are going to get equipped with this type of work and it's going to
Hmm.
change. It's literally going to change the world. Like there's so many more people now talking about nervous system mastery and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, totally. So, before we close out, we've got a bit of time left. I want to check in. Is there anything that we haven't spoken about yet today that you feel is really important to share with this community?
Yes. Okay. I love to really anchor people back into their power. And I have kind of like a step-by-step process in how I do that. So I want to walk the listener like through that process today so
Yes,
they can
please.
walk out of this just feeling super empowered.
Mm.
So, in my Iconic Woman Blueprint, I teach something called the breadcrumbs of your brilliance. And this is your through line that has been there through your entire life. And like you said before, we can kind of like break things up and be like, oh, I did this. Oh, it wasn't it. Oh, I did this. That wasn't it. It's always it, right? Like we're
Yeah.
always learning something. And so I want to kind of just share my evolution with my through line. And then I want the listener to do these things in order to figure out what her through line is and her actual zone of genius. Because I feel like we can get deterred from this, especially being multi-dimensional beings where we're like, oh, I'm so great at this, and I'm so great at this. Like, I'm a chameleon. I could do all these things. Like, right? There is one thing though that you're a master at. And when you figure out what that is like, oh, you are the most magnetic being. You are the iconic woman. All right, so let's walk through this process. So the breadcrumbs of your brilliance start from when you were very young, right? You're like, okay, what were the things that just like lit me up, where I felt like the most free, where I was having like the most fun? And for me, it has always been on I've been on a stage, like when I was on a stage, when I was acting in like a church play doing Fiddler on the Roof, or when I was singing O mio babino caro for a singing competition, or when I was
Yeah.
in, college and I was like, yeah, in public speaking, I'll go talk about deja vu in front of 300 people. Like that terrifies some people. But for me, like, I think it's like 75% of the population would rather die than public speak, like get on the
Mm.
stage in front of people, which is wild to me because I'm the opposite. Like, plot me anywhere, I'm all good.
Yeah.
So that has always been like the thing. Like, I love speaking, I love engaging with people. So when I was younger, I went to school for singing and acting. I did the whole bridal, artistry thing. And then I was like, oh, bridal hair educator. That's my stage. I can
Mm.
teach classes. I could teach them on Zoom. I could be in person teaching in front of people. Like that is my stage. That is my gift, right? I could teach and lead from the space, right? So now as I'm growing and evolving, here's the next rendition of it, right? It is the iconic woman movement. It is me speaking on podcasts. It is me speaking in at events or retreats or whatever. And it's like it's just the evolution of it all, right? And it has always
Mm.
been there my entire life. And along with this evolution, so like looking through that through line, right? At that through line, the zone of genius. This is something that's very tricky for us to really identify because
Mm.
our zone of genius comes easy to us. So we don't really think much about it, right? We're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
just
we're
me.
too
Like
close to see
we're
it.
too close. So this is what I have my clients do. You look outside yourself for this. This is something you look outside yourself for. You ask your closest friends, your family members, um, what is the thing that makes me amazing, that makes me sparkle, that makes me shine? Like what is the thing you see about me where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe she does this, right? You ask your closest family members that. And then you look at your client testimonials and you look at the through line of what are all of these people saying to you in these testimonials? What is the through line of that? What is
Mm.
the one thing they're all saying? For me, it's like, Renee, oh, your energy, you just make me feel like I could do anything. Like, you make me feel so amazing. Why? Because I unlock your fucking genius and make you feel like you could do anything. Because then we actually show you
Yeah.
how to do it. And it's like, and my mom told me one time, she's like, you are so comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I was like, you know what, Mom? Thank you for saying that. Like, you're right. Like, I love evolving. I love
Mm.
change. I love 10xing myself. And when I read that book by Benjamin Hardy, I was like, oh my God, did I write this book? I was like, I've literally, I mean, he's like genius. I love like how he just like it describes everything in that book of what a 10x is and looks like. But when I read it, I was like, oh my God, I've done this so many times in my life. And this is now
Yeah.
what I get to guide people through with nervous system mastery, with anchoring into their uniqueness and zone of genius, right? So whoever's listening right now, it's like, look at the breadcrumbs of your brilliance through the past. Like, what has been that through line, the thing that you're just like, oh, I feel the most alive when I
Mm.
do this, when I'm in this element, right? And then, like I said, ask your closest friends and family, like, what is the thing about me that you just like love the most? And then the same thing with the testimonials, like looking for that. That you're gonna get the responses from that and like figure that out. And you're gonna be like, whoa, I am so powerful. Like, so I just want you to like bottle that up today. Once you're done listening to this episode, like actually go do that and then come back and DM Katie and I and be like, oh my God, I did this.
Mhm.
This is what my zone of genius is. This is it. I feel it. Because there was a time where I remember asking one of my older mentors, I was like, I don't know what my zone of genius is. How do I figure that out? Like this was after I was teaching bridal hair. I was like, what is my zone of genius in the coaching industry? Like I don't know. Like I don't really know. It wasn't that tangible thing yet.
Mm.
And I figured it out on my own by creating my own blueprint. And now I'm sharing it with the world.
Beautiful. Yeah, as I say, so many people they're full to the brim with these amazing gifts, and yet because you're so close to it, you can't see it. You're like, what is my magic in the world? And when you hold it, it's like, oh, okay, well now I'm a category of one. Now I can hold my strength and my power and share that with the world, and show people why working with me is so different and so powerful. So yeah, I just love this so much. And as Renee said, if you are listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I got some great takeaways, some great wisdom, some great insights, please do share it. We love it when more people can access this podcast. And I feel like the High Vibe Honey podcast is such an incredible collection of the best industry leaders in the coaching space. So yeah, please do tag us both. And if you do want to leave a review for this podcast as well, I always appreciate it. Send me a screenshot and I will gift you my favorite meditation as a thank you.
Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. And yeah, just listen to her voice. Like, don't you want to hear meditation from it? It's so gorgeous.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love.
I mean, I know everyone is going to be so obsessed with you. So, how do they find you? How can they work with you? What have you got going on right now?
Oh, thank you for asking. So, my main place that you can connect with me is on Instagram at XO Renee Marie. And then from there, you can also find my podcast as well, which we're going through a little rebrand right now. I feel like I'm going to call it She's Iconic, but just stay tuned. You'll get all the details on my Instagram. And currently, we are working on something behind the scenes to really take the iconic woman movement global. So stay tuned for that. But currently, I'm doing something that we talked about today, the stages, right? I am showing you how to be that iconic woman on the stage in my headliner program. So that is a 4-week challenge we're doing right now. We just started it 2 days ago, and it is going to be 4 weeks where you can really truly anchor into your mission, your vision, your movement, get your keynote speeches down, get your storytelling down. And then we're going to do like some active pitching and collaborating with people. And at the end, you're just going to feel like, and you're going to see yourself and you're just going to be so unrecognizable on camera. And we're doing like a little before and like after video, which is like really fun, a fun thing for people to see as they go through it. So
Yeah.
that is currently what we're doing right now. And then inside my spaces, there's also where you can access the Iconic Woman Blueprint, which is inside my Heart Led Leader Academy. So those are all the things.
Wonderful. Sounds amazing. Let's finish off let's have a little bit of fun. I was
Yeah.
thinking we could just do some rapid fire, just whatever comes forward. Most of all, I want to ask you, when do you feel most iconic?
Oh my God. I feel most iconic when I'm singing or I'm on a stage.
Mm,
Yeah, for sure. Like
I
just
love that.
give me some Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, Christina Aguilera.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I so want to hear you singing now.
We will. We
What
will. We'll do it.
and what is the most magnetic thing a woman can do?
Ah, the most magnetic thing a woman could do is be the source of her own power. Like when you are the source of your own power and you're not looking for someone else for the answers or, when you can be that, mm, yeah, that's the iconic woman right there.
Gorgeous. Okay, last one. A woman becomes truly powerful when she stops doing what?
Well, she becomes truly powerful when she's actually radically honest with herself and she sets her standards and she lives by her beliefs and her standards and her values and she doesn't waver them for anybody.
Yeah, stunning. Oh my gosh, I hope everyone listening is if you grasp that, if you can land that, if you can start embodying that, you are flying. And Renee, this conversation has been so magical, so many great activations, so much wisdom. I'm so grateful to have you here sharing your gifts with the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love, for having me and whoever's listening, like whatever takeaways you had today, please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us because we love hearing from you guys. So thank you so much, Katie, for having me on.
My pleasure. Until next time, honeys, stay magnetic.